Big ambitions for the whole of the Middle East. I think you want to raise your sales here by what, 35% by 2023. Where is the biggest portion of growth going to come from? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's great to be here in Dubai, and I'm here for the great Dubai Expo. And last evening we had the opportunity to reveal 70th anniversary of petrol, and that's the reason I'm here. I'm so excited to be in this region. You know why? Because we are here for more than 5 decades, and we provided the mobility to this region even before the infrastructure existed. That's why mobility for us is in the deep roots of the culture of this region.
Well, it's driven practically by every Emirati and every expat that you see up and down Sheikh Zayed Road. But therein lies the question, how and what proportion of electric vehicles are we going to drive by 2023? Because we are consumers of gas guzzlers here.
Yeah, I mean, for us, electrification, what we are trying to do is a natural shift towards electrification, which means customers should be driving the natural choice towards electrification. What we have to do is to be the right enabler to make that natural choice. How we are going to do that? Driving excitement, EV adoption, and clean environment. For this region, we are now going to be the part of the Vision 2021, which is about global excellence, sustainability.
Give me a sense of the boom. You know, people here aren't able to actually get their Nissan Patrols into their front doors. What kind of boom are you seeing in the region, if you can describe it as that?
Yeah, for us, at first, the SUV boom is going to drive our growth in this region. In parallel, the electric cars, which we'll be bringing here, is going to also drive our growth. What we really want to do is not to do electrification in any region for the sake of electrification. We want electrification to be pulled by the customer, not pushed by us. That's why we announced our petrol last night, which is the 70th anniversary. It is V8, which gives the driving excitement to the customer to go to any kind of terrain.
But you're going to have to get a cultural change and an infrastructure change here to deliver that EV, aren't you? And that's the essence of driving EV strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are 3 things which are very important. Let's take an example. If we want to electrify petrol, which means the driving excitement to drive in the desert should be better than the today's V6 or V8 engine. The second is about the infrastructure, and third is about ecosystem. Yes, I think we need all 3 to go hands in hands.
Let's talk about, you're the chief operating officer, you've got a global perspective. The Philips CEO said to me he had a chips and ships problem. Where are you in the supply chain crisis? How bad is your supply chain interruption, and where is it most present?
I mean, pandemic has taught us many lessons, and I think the supply chain is the one which was most impacted. Post-pandemic also, we are continuing with the supply chain crisis. The reasons are many, but if I summarize, there are 3. Number 1, during pandemic, the plants were closed. Number 2, the regulations and the customer behavior. They are asking more and more electronics in the car. And number 3 is the technological disruption, which is the electronics which we put in the car is same as what we put in our electronic appliances. And this is going to continue. We have to adjust our supply chain in line with the new normal.
What's the biggest adjustment in the supply chain that you've done or you're planning to do?
For us, car is a commodity. So which means we have to manage the last part of the supply chain by ourselves, even if the last part of the supply chain is not fully dependent on the automotive.
Are you seeing any signs that your supply chain is improving, or that the chip flow to you is getting any better, or is it still really tight? How would you define it? I
mean, for us, how we define is what we did yesterday. So let me say it's improving day by day, but whether it is there where we say confidently that we are 100%, I don't think so. And I think it will continue next year also.
You've lived through Delta, you've lived through COVID, and we're entering Omicron. What changes, if at all, have you made as a global COO? Are you ready for a worst-case scenario? Are you changing direction or supply flow in any way?
I mean, for us, in this new normal, the biggest takeaway for us is how we should run the operations without people at the actual place. And I think this is the biggest takeaway. And accordingly, we have adjusted our operational system in line with
Well, and therein lies the point. I think you had to cut your production in October to really sort of weather the supply storm. Are you going to have to cut back production any further? And if so, where and by how much to weather this storm?
I mean, what we are trying to do is we are allocating our production to the profitable markets and the markets where customers are waiting. And that's how we are reallocating our semiconductors. We cut 22% production in October, and we are going to continue the production in the following months also. However, we are
down about 22% in the subsequent.
I'm not sure 22%, but it should be double digit.
Let's talk about planning for the future, because it is about electrification. I know America is where you hope to build your battery plant. When will that be? And I suppose the question is, what will Renault, what place will Renault be in the electrification plans?
I mean, Nissan, in 2010, we launched the first mass electric car. Since then, we have gone through this EV journey. We announced our EV plant and battery plant in UK, in Japan, in China, and next is United States. So what we announced, our 2 trillion yen of investment, which is roughly $18 billion, it includes the electrification in United States, which is vehicle, battery, and the charging infrastructure.
What about the Middle East? Would you consider building battery facilities here in the Middle East to service your hub into the Middle East and Africa?
Yeah, Middle East is a great location as a regional and a global hub. For us, Middle East has got an advantage because it is surrounded by our all competitive locations. So we get cars over here from United States, from Europe, from Asia, from Japan, and we want to expand this global footprint. Having said that, in Middle East, moving forward, we want to be the part of the global excellence and sustainability visionary roadmap, and this is how Nissan wants to align with the region.
Well, let me just bring a question to you. This morning, I'm sure you've already read the piece. Carlos Ghosn talks about Nissan to the FT, and he says that you as an organization, there is no vision at Nissan. They've had pitiful results, and they're proud of it. How do you respond to that comment from Ghosn?
I mean, we are talking to our customers, we are talking to our employees, we are talking to our shareholders. The first half of 2021, we did more than 4.5% operating profit. Our net income is positive, our operating profit is positive. And when we are talking about electrification, we are talking about electrification which is meaningful, driven by the customer, and doing 2 trillion yen of investment to launch 23 products with 15 battery electric cars. I think is good enough sustainable growth for Nissan moving into the future.
The other outstanding issue here in our region is, of course, the Dubai court has told Nissan to pay $354 million, a third of $1 billion, in a lawsuit. Now, your response to the AlDajha lawsuit is that you're resolving the matter through the Dubai courts. Now, I know you're in the process of appeal. You have settled before. Isn't the most expedient thing here to settle and hold good the reputation?
I mean, Nissan is working in more than 150 countries. We respect the local rule and the local legal system, and Dubai has been known for it in terms of fair legal system and friendly arbitration system. So we are following the process and let the decision comes by itself.
Are you likely to go the arbitration route and settle and move on?
It's very difficult to share the details, but we will follow the process.